This is Once a Metro Let's Play FIFA. I'm here with brand new writer Anthony Terminelli, and we got FC Dallas against the New York Red Bulls. We're going to be in Toyota Stadium, so the New York Red Bulls are away. Here we go. Alright, that's fine. Let's try not to take like 20 minutes with the rosters today. Last Let's Play FIFA, we probably edited the rosters. I edited the video down, but we were editing the rosters for a good 5 minutes or so. Do they have the 4-2-3-1 down here?
I think it's under 4-3-3.
Alright.
I'm not entirely sure though.
Something like that? Or it's more like this? No. This is pretty close.
That's like a 4-3-3. Yeah, it's like a normal 4-3-3.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
All right, so they definitely have. Wow, they have this messed up.
Stephen Keel, I miss him.
Oh, he's on Dallas. That's good to know.
I guess so.
I'm gonna try to put these rosters as close as possible to what they're gonna be this Friday. Lloyd Sam, where are you? I just updated the rosters as well. Connor Lade, why do they have him as captain? No offense, but Carl's gonna be starting. Let's switch Carl and Miazga. Yeah. And that looks about not Sean Davis. We want Duvall. All right, I am good to go.
All right. So the two players I have starting, Mauro Diaz and Castillo, they're both pretty young players. I'd say they're definitely ones to watch out for. And then also, I'm not sure if he's injured or anything, but if he is healthy and unsuspended, then Akindele, I think his name is. He's a striker. He's also pretty young, and he's one to watch out for as well.
For sure. Now, they don't have Toyota Stadium in the game. Hopefully FIFA 16, they put a lot more MLS stadiums in the game, but they don't even have Red Bull Arena. So that would be a nice update for FIFA.
Ooh.
Haven't played in a couple days, so I don't know how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, I was just playing last night, so hopefully I'll win, but hopefully it's Red Bulls getting the victory in real life.
What is your scoreline prediction?
I think it's going to be a tough one. I think the most either team will score is just going to be one goal. It's either going to be 1-0 to either team or just 1-1.
Okay, yeah, I had a completely opposite scoreline prediction. Mine, I actually predicted 3-2 Red Bulls. Dallas has been having some high-scoring games. I know they lost one 4-0, and then they won a game. I don't want to mispronounce this, but I think it was Galaxy. It might be wrong. I know I wrote in my scoreline prediction. They won 4-1. Maybe against the Rapids, was it?
Oh, Blas Perez off the hands of Robles. Hopefully we don't see any mistakes like that. But Blas Perez, he's very experienced. He's a good finisher. He's not the fastest. He's not the most athletic, but he can get in there and score a few goals.
Oh, phew. I thought I wasn't recording the gameplay for a second. Alright, let's see. So the Red Bulls, of course, came away with a win against New York City FC. If you got a chance to watch the game on Mother's Day. Goals by Bradley Wright Phillips. 2-1, I believe. Who scored for New York City FC? I'm blanking.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I forget.
Been a lot. Writers.
Yeah, been a lot of soccer since then.
My prediction did come true though. I was saying it would be around 2-1, maybe 2-2. And 2-1 was the final score, thankfully to the Red Bulls.
Yeah, at the time we recorded it, Anthony wasn't a writer for Once the Metro, and I don't know if anyone got a chance to read his Andrea Pirlo article. It was put up as a fan post. If you haven't, we will link it in the description, even though the Pirlo rumor kind of died down a bit. And that's another shot. But now he is officially writing for Once a Metro, and hopefully we can get more of these videos out for you. Or if Jason wants to take it over, no problem at all. Felipe Martins. Oh my gosh, Mike Grella.
Grella. Out of stamina. And he's not the fastest either.
No, not at all.
Which is why him being used out wide is a little bit sketchy in my opinion. I think it's always nice to have fast runners like Dane Richards.
I love when they put Dane Richards on the right.
Yeah, he's a good option off the bench because obviously having pace coming off the bench, coming up against a tired fullback who's been running up and down the pitch the entire game for 60, 70 minutes. If you can expose that, then you'll often find a goal. Oh Diaz,
no.
hitting the post. That's the young center attacking mid I was talking about earlier. He's very talented.
Do you know his age?
I think he's 23, 24. I think him and Castillo are the same age or around there. They a very good young South American contingent at FC Dallas.
Speaking on young strikers and forwards, thoughts on the new rumor with is it James? I don't want to mispronounce his last name. The American in me wants to say James McLean, but I know that's definitely not right.
Yeah, it's I think it's James McLean, but yeah, I think he's actually a winger, but he is a very capable goal scorer. His first season at Sunderland, I think that was in 2012. He was definitely one of their best players. He kind of tailed off in since then, but he's still a really good player. He's 25. He's entering his prime more or less. Give it two maybe 3 years and he'll be in his prime.
He's in League One right now, right?
Yeah, he actually just got relegated with Wigan, which is why he's kind of looking to get out of looking to come to MLS hopefully. So I think that's the player that MLS should be looking at, is the players that are very close to their prime, not in the twilight of their career, even in their prime. Obviously, it's good to get players that are in their prime, but if you can get the players that are entering their prime and help kind of mold them into potentially a better player than they would be if they were playing in League One, then I think that would be that's the type of player that MLS should be looking at.
You mentioned that last week too, which is really funny because after you mentioned it, the rumors started coming out, and everyone's seen that video, or a lot of people have seen that video of him practicing in Red Bull apparel, and apparently he was at Red Bull Arena a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's actually when I saw that the McLean rumors out. That's the first thing I thought of. Was that's the exact player that the Red Bulls or any MLS team for that matter should be looking at. Is just a young. Not too young, but a player in his mid.
Is he 22?
He's 25.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's 25, maybe 24, but that's around the age that we should be, not just the Red Bulls, like I said, but the MLS should be looking at signing. Obviously, if we sign Pirlo, or even though the Boateng rumors kind of got squashed, I think. I still would like Boateng, but even a player like him, I wouldn't mind them, but I think that maybe we should stop looking at being a retirement home, as everyone likes to call us, and just be I guess a development league. I guess if you look at the Eredivisie, they kind of try and develop players. They don't really bring in older players. They Memphis Depay, obviously. I mentioned him in the last video. Yeah, exactly. And if MLS can become that type of league where we can develop players and then send them off to the European leagues, obviously we've done that with the likes of Dempsey and Howard, but I think that needs to be on a bigger scale.
All right, so thanks to the camera, we actually recorded our whole second half and the video ended for some reason. So we're going to watch our gameplay that we just played actually from the second half and go over some of the points that we were talking about. First and foremost, we were talking about.
Gideon Zelalem. He's now able to play for the United States men's national team. And the point I was making is that he should maybe consider coming over to MLS. At Arsenal, they have a younger midfielder named Dan Crowley, who's also English, which is another plus for, I guess, if you're trying to get into the Arsenal team. And I was thinking, because a lot of people say that Dan Crowley's already better than Zelalem, and that Zelalem's a little lazy even. So I think it would maybe help him if he moved to the United States, because it's a place where I think he lived most of his life here, and I think that also if he moved here, then he would get much more playing time. It would help him get more comfortable with some of his potential teammates, with a lot of the United States men's national team players coming back to the MLS, like Michael Bradley and Josie Altidore. So yeah, what do you think?
I agree with the point. I think he should come to the MLS. A lot of these players that are playing for the U.S. national team or U20 team, U17, are trying to go into Europe. Take, for example, Christian Pulisic, who in his game against China it might have been a year ago or so, he had 2 goals that came from free kicks and a third goal. He had a hat-trick. Haji Wright in the same game, actually, who plays for the New York Cosmos, picked up 2 goals, so they had 5 goals total against China. And anyways, Christian Pulisic is a really good up-and-coming player, but he just signed a contract, or he's going to go play for Borussia Dortmund, I believe. So it's really good to see these players go to these huge clubs, but at the same time, I would like to see them play in the United States, in the MLS, in the NASL, which I know this is an MLS blog and they always get on me for talking about the Cosmos, but I would like to see these young players, kind of be brought up in the USL and make their way from the academy all the way up until playing in the MLS and the national team.
And another point I was making is kind of how, I guess, American players are, especially obviously if you look at like Altidore and Tim Howard. Tim Howard's story is a little bit different. He had a more successful career coming from MLS. Altidore kind of like he did go to AZ Alkmaar later on in his career, and not later on in his career, but I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. He's considered probably one of the best strikers in Eredivisie. And then he moved to the Premier League, and I think he scored like 1 goal. So I think while it is good for players to move from MLS to abroad, it's also good for them to kind of stick to, obviously you want to get out of your comfort zone, but that also can kind of equate to your career being pretty much a joke. Altidore did kind of turn into a joke, and it wasn't really nice seeing a bunch of people laugh at an American who's, pretty much one of our best strikers at that point. And I would hate to see the same happen to Zelalem should he ever play for Arsenal's first team. Maybe, has like 3 bad games. Suddenly, like, America's biggest talent is suddenly just a complete joke.
Sort of like what happened with Juan Agudelo?
Yeah. I don't think Juan Agudelo is as big of a talent as Zelalem, obviously, but I think something similar did happen. Like, he had like a few good games for the Red Bulls, and then he just kind of disappeared. And then he reappeared like a few weeks ago when he scored against Mexico. I think he's a good player, but it shows like maybe leaving MLS isn't the best thing for your career. It has paid off for a few players, but for the most part, I think it's best if some players stay in MLS.
So for FC Dallas this Friday, you say you think the Red Bulls or FC Dallas is going to be a low-type scoring game?
Yeah. Obviously, the FIFA gameplay is kind of going against my prediction, but like I said before, I think the most either team will score is going to be 1 goal. I think it's going to be a pretty tight game. It's either going to be 1-0 to either team, or it's going to be just 1-1. I would like to see the Red Bulls pick up 3 points, but with the defense, you never know. But there is something that hasn't emerged recently, But ever since I would say like maybe mid-season last year, it was around when Bradley Wright Phillips picked up. Lloyd Sam started kicking it into gear. He's always been a good player for the Red Bulls ever since he came, but he kind of stepped it up a notch. And a lot of people are saying that now that Henri's gone, Lloyd Sam is playing well, which I think he was playing well before then, but now he's playing even better. I said in my Pirlo article that I guess the absence of a good passer is something that the Red Bulls, they had Henri last year. A lot of people seem to think of Henri as just like a classic poacher, but I think there was one season for Arsenal he got like 26 goals and then like 20 assists, which is honestly like if you said Messi put up those numbers, then I would believe you too, because obviously Messi is a fantastic playmaker and goal scorer. But maybe the Red Bulls don't need this passer because Lloyd Sam, he's a very good provider. He's fast, he's skillful, he's a good dribbler, but he's also good at putting balls into the box. He's even a pretty good passer himself, like just playing like a normal through ball. His skill set's pretty good for a winger, and he's also very experienced. He played in, I think it was League One with Bradley Wright Phillips. Obviously, they weren't on the same team, but I think they do have a little connection there. Because they play in the same league, they more or less have like I guess a similar mentality. I think MLS is kind of on the level of like League One, maybe lower Championship. Obviously, some people will kind of hear that and be like, "Ah, there's no way." But I do think that MLS is on that level, but they're familiar here. It's basically they don't have to have any like language barrier. It's like they're familiar with the style of play, they're familiar with the language, and they can link up with each other pretty easily.
Now, in the first half, I think we talked about the rumor, right? The James McClain rumor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember which sections got recorded and which don't, so which topics we have to hit on. But yes, that was definitely one topic.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that, like I said.
One thing I'm excited, not to cut you off, is the hopeful start, and I think it's going to happen, of Carl. Carl Umet. Is that how you pronounce it? I think it's Umet. I'm so
sure.
bad at pronunciation. Yeah, I believe he's 22 years old. He has had a start for the New York Red Bulls earlier this year. I believe it was against... oh, wow. It was the same game that Connor Lade started. He started at center back. So I think that was against... was it New England?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It was against New England. And he played a really good game. And then last week against New York City FC, he came in, I believe, in the 38th minute after Miazga got red carded. So when Miazga got red carded, of course they needed to bring someone else on defense to have that 4-2 or 4-3-2-1 formation still sort of intact. Of course, there's only going to be 10 players, so that's not going to add up correctly. But anyways, they brought out Mike Grella, who I don't know if he's happy about it. I'm sure he's fine, but whatever. And Carl played a great, 52 minutes left of the match.
Yeah. I think with the whole center back woes that have kind of showed up recently, obviously Ronald Zubar is just kind of, I don't even know what he's doing. Like 1 week he's fit to play, and then the next week there's no chance he'll play. Like I don't know what's going on with him. So I think if Umet can kind of step in and be as good as like even Miazga, Miazga's played pretty well. I think maybe we really won't need Zubar. Obviously, Zubar is a very good defender. He has Premier League experience, but maybe he won't be part of our central defensive pairing for this season.
His younger brother plays too, who's age 28. I'm blanking on where he's playing now. But yeah, Carl is a great player so far. He's been a good addition to the team, and I don't think he's been playing in the USL at all. New York Red Bulls too. We haven't seen much of him there. I know Connor Lade's been playing there, captaining there somewhat. Anthony Wallace is also another guy signed to the first team that's had some USL experience. But it seems like with Carl, they've been keeping him strictly in the MLS. So that's going to wrap up.
Real quick, another thing with the center backs, the Red Bulls signed Andrew Jean-Baptiste, and he's been playing for Red Bulls too, and he seems like a pretty decent player. He's pretty tall and strong. I'm kind of surprised that the Red Bulls really haven't used him. Maybe he's not as good as Miazga. I'm not really there on the training ground, so I can't really see. But I would like to see. I'm not sure if he's allowed to play for the Red Bulls since he's playing for Red Bull too. But I would like to see if he could maybe step in and be a key part of the central defensive partnership.
Yeah, he's actually on loan to New York Red Bulls too. When we went to the match against the Wilmington Hammerheads, he of course started. And I did a lineup prediction once for the opening game against Sporting Kansas City, and me and you were talking, and we actually put him in our starting lineup. And of course, we haven't seen a first team appearance by Andrew Jean-Baptiste, but we'd all really like to see him getting the call up. He's been playing really well for New York Red Bulls too. Some other players that are playing well for New York Red Bulls too, but we probably won't see for a long time playing for the Red Bulls would be someone like the Derek Etienne train. Yeah, everyone here at Once a Metro loves him. So yeah, do you have anything else to talk about?
Nope, that's it.
All right, this has been Once a Metro. I'm Bobby Salentano.
I'm Anthony Terminelli.
And this is Let's Play FIFA.